All right, fam, it's that time yet again when I have to be the party pooper telling everybody how it really is. That sounded so stupid. Nah, but seriously, in this video, I want to take a skeptical look at a game that I think we're all cautiously optimistic of, but there's a lot of weird, bizarre things that have happened with it already. But I want to go through those and evaluate all of the little tidbits of information scattered about and see if Assassin's Creed Mirage, a game which is allegedly coming in the next few months, if it really is as good as they say it may be. They being some people. I haven't met them yet. Most people are pretty critical of this one. So for those of you who have not seen it yet, Assassin's Creed Mirage is the newest game to be added to the Assassin's Creed franchise. It's highly anticipated primarily because it is supposedly a return to form. It's supposed to be sort of an honorary title going back to basics, focusing on stealth, social stealth, and parkour, which has, let's just say, not been the priority recently. And before anybody calls me a Ubisoft fanboy in this comment section, let me just say, I've received a ton of swag from Ubisoft. They're very nice people. They've always been very sweet to me. Even after I called Assassin's Creed Valhalla a travesty publicly in my 3-hour critique of the game where I tore it many new ones. So I am no sycophant for Assassin's Creed. I call them out when it's awful, and I try to praise them when I think that it's justified. And I will be the first one to get up and agree with all of you that Assassin's Creed Valhalla and the trends that have been getting worse and worse over the last few years are something that I think should be shed from the franchise, and hopefully Mirage constitutes the first step in that process. Now, so far we've only seen this cinematic trailer and a few screenshots, which are also blended with concept art. It's really confusing. Basically, we haven't seen anything of this game. We haven't seen gameplay. We haven't seen a gameplay trailer. We haven't seen an in-engine trailer with like cinematics. We don't know what this game looks like, how it works, or anything. We're relying purely on the speeches and interviews from the developers that we have access to, and that's it, which is really weird because you can actually go to the Ubisoft website and Amazon, Best Buy, all of those places, and you can buy the collector's edition of the game. You can buy a statue, art book, all of this stuff without having even seen what gameplay looks like or what the game even really is, which is weird. Listen, I love me a good collector's edition. I will be the first one to hype it up if it looks cool. However, I find it extremely weird to sell a collector's edition for a game that we haven't seen yet. That's just odd to me. Like, at least announce the game, maybe open it for pre-orders, but wait to give the collector's edition out until the game has at least been shown. Like, it's weird. It's just weird. But that wasn't the only really weird thing that happened with Assassin's Creed Mirage. In fact, right after it was announced, even during the very presentation where they showed it off back in September of 2022, the game was shown with an adults only rating. Specifically, the Xbox store page where this was originally spotted said that it was rated adults only because it had gameplay mechanics which constituted, quote, real gambling, which is really weird. Ubisoft then came out and said that that was a mistake. There's no real gambling or loot boxes present in the game. They don't really know how this happened, and frankly, I don't either. Seriously, there has not been another instance in the history of the games industry, as far as I'm aware, and I've been looking and asking you guys for a while if you know of any instances. There's never been anything like this, where a game was falsely presented at an announcement as adults only or M, only to have the rating immediately explained away as, I guess, a glitch or an intern that screwed up or some troll. Who knows? But it's weird. This has never happened before. So right off the bat, we have a really weird announcement with major mistakes made in the presentation saying it's adults only for gambling, but there's no gambling. And then they proceed to sell the collector's edition, even though they haven't even shown off what the game looks like or what it is that we've just got like a cinematic trailer and screenshots like this, which I guess are like cool. I think this might also be concept art. It's really, really hard to tell. What they've said is concept art also looks just like screenshots and vice versa. So I don't know anymore. The whole thing is just really, frankly, bizarre. I cannot think of another game that has had an announcement process, anything like this. It's just unique. And there's not much more to say other than that it's just really weird. But that alone is noteworthy because I can't think of another game like this, and that makes it unique and remarkable in the purest sense of the word. But the overarching vision of the game is this shot right here. Baghdad, with you exploring as Basim, who we got to know in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It's focusing on classic assassinations, stealth mechanics, and the like. It's really supposed to be a return to form. And this was verified by some reports and interviews that were initially given to Arab Hardware, which is a website which of course only speaks Arabic. And so all of these quotations that I'm about to go through were translated through like Google Translate. So they might be a little iffy, but the general ideas are there. In this case, one of the interviewers with Arab Hardware asked the lead producer on Assassin's Creed Mirage, Fabian Solomon, whether or not they were focusing on Assassin's Creed Unity when it came to the free running mechanics. And this is important because Assassin's Creed Unity had the last really robust free running and parkour system in the franchise. Ever since then, every release has dumbed it down further. Initially, they dumbed it down in Syndicate by just really streamlining the experience. There weren't really any like trick moves or complicated transitions between levels. It was just kind of lackluster. And then after Syndicate came Origins, which streamlined the entire thing to just hold down A and run forward and you'll climb, hold down B and you'll fall. That's it. And then of course Odyssey streamlined it even more at level 25, completely removing fall damage whatsoever, which was really strange. In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they don't even like explain to you when you lose the ability to take fall damage. You just reach level 25 and then you stop taking fall damage. It's really weird. I never got an explanation from anybody, even the devs that I know, as to why that happened. It's like they were gonna have a story explanation for it and then they just scrapped it. And so you just all of a sudden are invincible. It's bizarre. And then of course, I'm sure I don't need to tell you that the protagonist in Assassin's Creed Valhalla had the parkour abilities of a wet and damp paper towel. So it would be great if they returned to form in Assassin's Creed Mirage with a system even moderately close to that of the free running system in Assassin's Creed Unity. I would love that. And this lead producer said as much, saying, quote, "This is our absolute goal indeed. We are seriously trying to reach this level with Mirage." This level being that of Assassin's Creed Unity. And that's not the only gameplay mechanic that's returning from past games. There's going to be assassination contracts returning from Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, and they've also said that they're going to be introducing a bunch of new mechanics for hiding within crowds for large set-piece assassinations. And when asked about the game's length, the executive producer on the game, Marc-Alexis Cotier, I think maybe, I don't know, I'm sorry, I'm not French, I'm doing my best. When asked, not everything has to be a 150-hour RPG, right? Which of course was a common frustration after Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which felt like it never ended. It was like Purgatory Simulator, it was horrible. They said it is a smaller Assassin's Creed project. This was conceived and built to celebrate the 15th anniversary of the franchise, which we had just this past fall. So that's why we're using our modern Valhalla engine to build a smaller game that pays tribute to our original game by focusing more on stealth, on close quarter combat, on parkour, and a denser city that goes back to our roots in the Middle East with Baghdad as the centerpiece. They haven't said exactly how long the game will be, probably because they aren't even sure yet, but I would personally predict something between 15 and 20 hours. That seems to be the sweet spot. And so all of this sounds pretty good. They're returning to the focus of smaller games that are a little denser, dense cities, which is a huge deal because Assassin's Creed Valhalla felt like they just randomly generated a forest and a flat plain and then said, okay, yeah, we'll sprinkle in some ruins that we copy and pasted from Odyssey, and then we'll put in like a couple of forts for you to go through and copy and paste that all over the map, and then we'll call it good. it seriously felt like most of the game was you just running through a grass field that looked identical to the one you just got through. So finally, to have a return to a city where we can actually explore and free climb, that's awesome. They're bringing back animations and free climbing systems that we have long since lost in the most recent games, and they're focusing on social stealth and these assassination missions in an Assassin's Creed game, which is cool. And what was initially supposed to be sort of like, okay, manage your expectations, actually for me is one of the things that I find most intriguing. This was originally developed, according to reports, as a DLC for Valhalla that was eventually expanded into its own thing. They were like, actually, this is getting pretty good and it's getting big. Let's just make it its own game. Why not? Instead of like a $20 expansion, let's sell it for close to full price and do it that way. And the reason that's, for me, a positive note instead of a detraction is because usually DLC have limited scopes and are much more focused on the concept than a big full release, especially from Ubisoft, that tries to do everything on the planet all at once. So it's sort of jack of all trades, master of none. DLC tend to be very focused on one particular thing. They released the River Raids DLC and expansion free update thing, and that was just on River Raids and focused on that, and people really had a lot of fun with it. Same with the roguelite system that they introduced. People had a lot of fun with that. And these other story expansions, I understand not many people are really into going through Ragnarok in Assassin's Creed. I'm one of them. I couldn't stand the DLC, but you know what? They found a concept and they stuck to it. So to hear that this was originally a small expansion focused on basically being a mini original Assassin's Creed, but in the Assassin's Creed Valhalla engine, that actually, to me, is relatively interesting. But okay, come back to Earth, Luke. What are we actually dealing with here? Well, I cannot help but notice that it's extremely weird. We don't know pretty much anything about this game. The fact that we don't know exactly when it's releasing, even though it was originally announced for early this year, it's just all quiet right now. Nobody knows really what's going on, though it's been rumored and all but confirmed that it's been delayed to this fall. And for me, the biggest warning sign, of course, being that it's a Ubisoft game, and they've made promises before, and those promises have been broken, and they seem to have a very inconsistent standard of quality, which is quite frustrating when you're only really talking about one new game every couple of years at this point in a franchise that you have spent a lot of time playing and that you care about, which a lot of Assassin's Creed fans do care about these games and want them all to be good. But sometimes Ubisoft makes it a little difficult to be a fan. You know, I really wish there was more to say in this video. I was actually putting off making this video for like weeks and weeks and weeks. I was originally going to make it in like early December, and I thought surely by the new year we'll have more information on this game. We'll have like gameplay or something to show off. But there's nothing. The most recent thing that I can think of that was this secretive for seemingly no reason was the Witcher 3 next gen update. If you guys recall, they announced that, said it was coming out at the end of 2022, and we didn't see screenshots, we didn't see gameplay footage, we didn't know what they were actually going to be bringing to the table in terms of the next gen update until like a week and a half before it launched. Now that was a free update, and it did launch like totally broken for a lot of people. But you know what? I mean, that's the only other instance I can think of where seemingly the developer buried it and didn't talk about it for seemingly no reason. If they just came out and were clear as to what that was supposed to be, I think people would have been less upset when it came out and it was like, okay, yeah, no, it's a next gen update. That's it. Nothing too crazy. And with Assassin's Creed Mirage, if they just come out and say, yeah, no, this is what the game looks like. It's running in the Valhalla engine. Looks fine. The parkour is okay. It's maybe more in line with Syndicate, less Unity, but more Syndicate. Like, I think that would be okay if they just came out and made it clear. But silence often causes way more confusion, way more drama, because people speculate in videos like this. I'm part of the problem, Ubisoft. Don't let me do this. Just share information. We're gonna find out eventually. If it's really underwhelming and the free running sucks or the social systems are super lame, if that is what it is, we're gonna find out. So just like rip the Band-Aid off now. You know, that's what I've never understood about trying to bury this stuff. Like eventually people will find out. And guess what? If it's awesome, people will just get hyped and pre-order the game and get all excited and be all into it. Like, what are you waiting for? But you know what? Let me know what you think of all of this in the comment section below. I will be reading through those because I want to know if I'm just like burned on Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed at this point, and I'm being too critical of these little things that are starting to stack up. If maybe I just need to take a chill pill. Or maybe you're looking at this too and like, yeah, no, this is weird. I don't know what's going on. They need to get their act together. I need you to validate me or snap me out of it. But with that, I'm gonna go run on the treadmill for a bit. For those of you who weren't in our live stream and don't know, my wife Nikki's actually pregnant once again. So we have another little one on the way. We're gonna have 2 kids running around in this house. It's absolutely wild. So I need to go get rid of the dad bod I already have so that I can prep the new one right in time for the new baby coming. So I'm gonna go do that. Thank you everybody for watching and making this dream a reality. You allow me to support my wife and soon to be 2 kids on this job doing all of this. So I'm truly humbled by it and I owe it all to you. Never think that I take this for granted. Truly, I love and appreciate every single one of you. You blow my mind every single day when you watch these videos of me just rambling about video games. So truly, truly, thank you. But with that, thanks for watching. I love y'all more than you could possibly know. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.